We've been knocking a lot of projects off of our list lately, and it feels great. Some of them are small, but some of them are big. And one of those big projects we've been working on is the aft cabin. I'm Taryn, this is Logan, and this is Max. Our life rarely goes as planned, and this story is no different. But we are determined to rebuild our beautiful steel boat, even stronger than she was before. And we're bringing you along with us. So last week, I started prepping the boat for spray foam. And I know what you're thinking, but you already did spray foam. And you're right. But there's two problems. The first is that there's a couple of spots that the spray foam isn't built up quite as high as we want it. And the second issue is that when we prepped all the stuff on the deck that we just welded that you guys saw last week, we had to pull out a bunch of spray foam in order to do that job. And now we need to respray foam that. So I got that all prepped and ready to go. And then we remembered that the bulkhead in the aft cabin, we also really want to spray foam that. So now we've kind of shifted gears, and this week we're going to be working on putting the aft cabin back together so we can put in a new bulkhead, and then we're going to spray foam the week after. So that's supposed to be going back in, looks like, right?
Yeah, you just have to figure out where this used to be.
Like with all the other woodwork, things didn't go back in the way they came out, and we had to do some modifying. Nice to be able to sit in here again. So you can kind of see behind Logan's arm there that there's this piece of steel, and we just added that in.
The reason I put that in there is because this piece is built on top of a rib.
Oh, right.
So there was no
I needed support.
Because I had to cut the inside off to be able to work in there. So instead of having the flange facing backwards to where it's inaccessible, I flipped it around and have it facing forwards.
Mm-hmm. Also means that we might be able to attach things to that bit so that the wood that you see there no longer has to rest on the hull like it was before, which caused those rust issues and part of why we replaced those two back plates. Sounds like a swamp.
I hope we don't have a hole.
Quite the mess.
Before, there was a bulkhead here, and it was up tight on the steel, and it caused quite a bit of corrosion because there was no insulation. So this aft cabin would get warm and condensation would build up there. Also, there was wood glued to the hull. Not great.
No.
Covering the limber hole.
Yeah, and
so that any of the moisture that coming in the back from condensation and rain and whatever would soak into that wood, and it just went up through the bulkhead and all over the place. So
yep,
that's why we're changing this. because basically there's no room underneath here. The wood's basically touching the hull. So yeah, we're not doing that anymore. But we have to figure out a way to attach this to something because it's got no support.
And that one looks even worse.
This one?
Yep.
Yeah. The epoxy turned out really well from yesterday. And we're ready to continue fitting these boards in.
Yay!
The place they go.
The aft cabin. So the other thing that I did yesterday was I epoxied the ends of all these. I didn't film it because I was busy doing the work and the epoxy needed to go on, but so all of this is now sealed with epoxy. And the reason that I did that was that this is going to be right up against the rib. And because of that, there's a higher chance of it getting water in it. As you can see here, there's still some rot spots in here, but it's dried out. So that's where it was rotting before because of being waterlogged. So yeah, now that that's all sealed up, we shouldn't have issues with rot in this piece of wood, and the water should just drain into the bilge instead of into the wood like it's supposed to. So exciting. After much thought and planning, it was decided that we would make a kind of wood sandwich along the newly constructed support in order to hold the flooring up above the hull. And it turned out pretty well. Okay, so that's just like the wood into the wood, right? So you said you still have to drill into
I still have to screw into the back. I'm gonna put 3 on each side in through the steel.
Yeah.
But it's already like...
Oh yeah, it's really stiff, hey?
Quite a bit stiffer.
Awesome.
This is the bulkhead separating the aft cabin from the aft, aft blocker. Basically. And the bottom of it was quite rotten.
Yep.
So I just cut the bottom off. And I'm gonna see if we have enough space there, and if not, I guess I'll use it as a template.
But you're gonna try to put this back in, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go and try and fit it in right now. See if it works.
And then it was onto the bulkhead that goes between the side locker and the aft cabin.
I think I'm just gonna cut this right off.
Yeah, good idea. Doesn't seem to really be a need for it, is there? And just like that, we had an aft cabin again. One more thing off the very, very long list. Thanks so much for watching, and an extra big shout out to our patrons, especially John, for the continued support with our videos. You all really make these projects easier to handle.